Welcome to Broadway Girl Bosses podcast. I'm Abby, and I'm the host and creator of this podcast. And today I am joined by the amazing Belén Moyano.
Hi.
So I found you from the Hadestown tour, obviously. I saw the show in Chicago this last time you came to Chicago, and it was absolutely amazing. It was magical. I know you can't see me, but I'm wearing the Spirit jersey I got from the show.
Oh, I
So
love
wore
that.
that for a
And
bit of good luck.
thank you so much for coming, truly. It
Yeah,
was
of
so
course.
fun to be in Chicago.
My favorite show ever. I still listen to the cast recording all the time. But for those who do not know you, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Belén. I use she, her pronouns. I am based in New York City. I'm an actor, born in Buenos Aires, Argentina, raised in Utah, of all places. And I'm on tour. I've been on tour with Hadestown for 2 years now. So it's been a journey.
So you were in the original cast, am I correct, of the tour?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's amazing. I think I saw something. Are you the only original cast member left?
I am,
Oh,
yeah.
that's actually really cool.
Oh, well, thank you. I call myself the senior most principal, which makes me feel really old. But it's all good.
All fun and games, yeah. But what was your audition story like for Hadestown those 2 years ago?
So I actually auditioned for Hadestown prior to the pandemic. I went in initially for an open call. It was an equity principal audition. I played the violin, I sang, and then they asked me to come back, and they kept asking me to come back. And this was beginning of 2020. So I'd seen the show in 2019, right after they won all their Tonys. And I remember turning to my husband and I was like, I'm going to be in the show. It fits my vibe. And also I can play all the instruments that are on stage, and like the music itself, it was just so captivating. So when those auditions came by, I was like, okay, I think this is for me. Callback after callback, I ended up, the very last one I did was maybe a couple weeks before the shutdown. And I walked into the room and it was myself and 5 or 6 other women. And we found out that they were actually looking for the Fate One replacement on Broadway. And so Anais Mitchell was there, Rachel Chavkin, Liam Robinson, the whole team was across the table. And we said, okay, so they taught us the Chips Are Down dance combination. And then we sang for them. Yeah. And I left feeling pretty confident, where I said, I gave it my all. And what I gave, I feel really good about. But then, of course, the shutdown happened
Mm-hmm.
and I heard nothing. And I thought, okay, then, that was my journey with Hadestown. We'll see if after the shutdown I even come out as an actor. I don't even know what I'm going to do. So then fast forward to 2021. This is sometime in April. I get invited to submit a tape for the tour. And so I do a couple tapes for them, and then they invite me to a Zoom callback. And I did a Zoom callback with, again, Rachel and the team, and 36 pages of material, because I was going in for the swing track originally.
Mm.
That also covered Eurydice, all the workers, all the fates. So it was a lot. And after that, I found out I had booked Fate One like 3, 4 days later. So it was all pretty quick.
Wow, that
And
is really quick for a
yeah.
callback thing.
Hmm.
Very quick. So according to your Instagram, you also do cover Eurydice currently, am I correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, as of 6, 7 months ago now.
Nice. So can you talk us through your debut and like what thoughts were like running through your head?
Sure. So I had the blessing of watching so many amazing Eurydices before me. And as a fate, uh, what really happens is, I mean, we're on stage from the start of the show to the end of the show. And for most of the time, we're in the back just watching. That's our job, is just to watch. And I felt very fortunate to be able to see such beautiful work from the women who came before me, who either covered the role, or Morgan Siobhan Green, who originated the role on the tour. So when they offered me, I had auditioned multiple times during the tour to cover it there whenever the job became available, but it never really quite panned out based on what they needed. So finally, when they gave me the opportunity, it was all pretty quick because they said, okay, we're going to give you 2 weeks of rehearsal and then you'll have your put in. And then whenever Eurydice calls out, you'll be on. And I was like, okay. And rehearsals went by really fast because I had watched the show for over a year now. So I knew what was happening. I had a sense of like numbers and what the shape of it all looked like. What I really, really loved was getting that one on one coaching on the material itself and learning just different tidbits of Eurydice that I had never thought of. And it actually changed the show I did as a Fate because all of a sudden it's as though the tables were turned and I understood the role of the Fates in Eurydice's world, which was so amazing. So my debut happened maybe 2 to 3 weeks after my put in. I went on for the very first time in Hartford, Connecticut, and it was kind of surreal. It felt like the multiverse because at that point I had done over 500 shows as a Fate. And so then to step in and do the show as Eurydice from a like literally watching the show from a different angle, I gained so much more. I mean, I have so much respect for my coworkers, my fellow actors, but getting to watch them in a different light was so beautiful. The work that they do every single night, I just felt so honored. And my hope, especially as an understudy and anytime I've understudied in the past, has always been to come in as seamlessly as possible. So I don't want it to seem like I'm the understudy. I want it to seem as though I've been doing this for a long time. And my agent actually came from New York to come and see the show that night.
Aw.
And the best compliment I got after the show was her telling me, I couldn't believe that this was your first time. And I said, "Oh, thank you so much." Because I was nervous and there was a lot of stuff happening. And especially when you're doing it so quick and you're like, okay, I have to remember where I'm going and like, what's my next line and what's my bit of choreography and like, what prop am I supposed to be holding? All those little elements can kind of bog you down. But I've now done it. Our Eurydice doesn't call out very often. Hannah Whitley, she's amazing and she's young and she's got so much energy. And so, her body can do incredible things. But I've done it now 5 times. And the last time I did it, it was the first time where I felt like I really, really uh, like didn't have to think about where I was going anymore. I could just live in the moment and react and really enjoy the experience of getting to play with new people that I usually don't get to play with every night. So it's been good. I feel
I
very
love
grateful.
that. I love that your agent came. That just melted my heart.
Oh yeah,
It
she's
was
the
so
best.
it was that would be so sweet. So, like you said in your audition story, you said you played the violin, and from seeing the show, for those who have not seen the show, basically all the Fates play instruments on stage with the band,
Mhm.
which I did not know until I saw the show. I'm like, whoa. It was really cool. But how long have you been playing the violin, and what is it like playing it on stage every single night?
Yeah, so I've played the violin since I was 11. I started in school, just in like the school orchestra. I wanted to play the cello, but my mom said it was too big, so she handed me a violin. But later I learned that it was her dream that one of her children play the violin. So I was like, okay, that's fine. But I loved it so much. Played it all through school, a little bit into college, and then I kind of set it aside because my focus became on like if I did anything musical, it was singing, and then I started working professionally as an actor pretty early in my college career, and yeah, I never got the opportunity to play my instrument aside from at home, jamming out either a Christmas concert or my husband and I would create arrangements of some sort just for me to keep up my skill set. So during the pandemic, I actually got a fiddle teacher and we meet virtually every other week. She's amazing. Her name is Kendra Joe. And learning, going from classical violin to bluegrass folk has been so cool for my brain, and learning how to improvise and like jam out with other musicians is such a gift. And developing that skill set. So getting to do that on stage is really fun because my track, the violin part is written out, but it's pretty easy. And none of my understudies actually play the violin. All of them had to learn for the role itself, which I think is absolutely incredible. They're amazing. But it's just like, it's kind of brainless for me. So there are moments that are written, which is mostly like improv. And I just have created the craziest things for myself. Or if I'm bored sometimes, I'll be like, ooh, what are some like chords I can play with? And getting to listen to our band has been really cool. I also play the accordion, so I've now kind of taught a couple fates how to play for their track too, because none of the fates who have ever played accordion in our show have played before. Um, so it's always the music director who has imparted that wisdom, or it's myself who also has that skill set. So it's things, yeah. It's I call them the hobbies that for some reason now I'm getting paid to do, which I'd never expected to do for work, because it is truly something that brings me so much joy and getting to create in that way.
Yeah, I want to see you play all the fates now. Now that I know you can play the accordion, I want to see you
Ah,
play all of them.
thank you.
So, from doing live theater, because I am a young actress, I'm going into high school right now, so I'm just like
Amazing.
starting. Um, and from seeing a bunch of live theater, I know that a bunch of mishaps happen on stage and you can do nothing about it. Some have even happened to me. Like I was playing Lucy in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and my wig totally flew off during a dance number. And I had to
No.
run off stage, whip it back on, and run back on stage to make it on for the next scene. So that
Oh.
was scary. But have there been any mishaps that have happened on stage that have like made you laugh? It could be you or it could be someone else if you're comfortable, like quote unquote, exposing them.
Yes. So I had one, we'll go in not chronological order, we'll go from the most recent one. I It's his Kiss the Riot, and I'm playing the violin. Speaking of the violin, I'm playing the violin in the back, and they've told me in the past, as I've worked through that number, they're like, can you like put your body into it? And can like the violin be an extension of your fate? And so for some reason, I went off the rails that night, and I was like, okay, I'm really going to put my body into it. And then we get to the end, and all alone, his blood runs thin. And then we hit this final chord, and then silence before he goes, and doubt comes in, and we hit the chord, and it's on an up bow, and I literally, my hand my hand leaves my body, my hand opens up, and my bow goes flying. And I mean flying. Like I've never had this experience before. It flies almost all the way across the stage and just crashes against the set. And it goes, and our Hades goes, and doubt comes in. And
Oh my god, I
I
love that.
felt so horrible. But to my credit, I felt so proud of myself in the moment because my face showed nothing. It was as though I'd always done that. I was like, I have two choices right now. I could be either very, very embarrassed or just be like, you know what, live theater, like you said, it's like things happen and we can't control it all. And that's, I guess, the fun of also being an audience member and watching on nights like that.
Yeah.
So we start the next number, which is Wait for Me Too. And Hermes has to get back on the turntable, and we do this weird little do-si-do because I have to go pick up my bow. And it literally feels like the walk of shame the whole way. So that was this last time. And then I had the people came up to me and they're like, and I was like, yeah, it happens. It's fine. One of the women who runs uh oh my gosh, what's it called? Who does Spotlight. That's what it is. She comes up to me later on and she's like, I kid you not, like we were trying not to laugh because people would have heard us. Like we were cackling under our breaths because they saw it, which is amazing. The last one I'll share, it's someone else's, and I love telling this one because he's super open about it. Chibeze, who was our previous Orpheus, um, he he started the tour as Worker 3. And Worker 3 has some really weird, intricate, like just really strange choreography because Worker 3 is kind of the odd man out who has to fit into weird places. And so he has to run from one end of the set to the next and like move too many chairs for him to be able to move them. It's kind of crazy. And one night I'll never forget because again, the fates, all we do for the most part is sit in the back or stand in the back and watch. And they're doing wedding song and he has to run over a platform, grab two chairs, and then run or set them, grab two chairs, set them down, and then run back and do this like back bendy thing towards the end of the number. And we watch him, as always, like run over, put the chairs down, and as he's coming back over the platform, he trips, and it turns into a three-act play. Like it is one of the memories I will never, ever, ever forget. It was hysterical because he not only trips, but he like he does like a weird roll on the platform itself, and then he like falls off the platform and does another roll, and then he somehow stands up and still makes his choreography moment center stage. Like it
Whoa.
was flawless. Yeah, so I admire him, and we've laughed about that for a long time.
Just like it was meant to happen.
It was meant to happen.
So, I know earlier we kind of talked about hobbies you're paid for, but do you have any hobbies that you are not paid for that you do besides performing?
So I'm currently training for the New York City Marathon. That's happening November 5th. So I'm doing a lot of running. I guess running is now my hobby. Um, that's been really good for me. I love weightlifting and training in that sense. Um, at playing instruments, I like my husband travels with me and he's a piano player, so he has a keyboard. I like playing music, jamming out, figuring things out. I love cross stitching. That's something that I picked up during tour. Um, and I've made it also not just like it's very meditative for me, but as a way to also gift people very individual things when they leave our company. So that's been really, really lovely. What else do I do? I like to roller skate. I just started roller skating for fun. I hope to be able to dance on skates sometime soon. Um, Hobbies. I love reading. Read a lot of books on tour. Yeah, and I'm obsessed with Peloton. I call it a hobby, but it's really an obsession. Um, Huge fan of that platform. So I would say those are a couple things.
I love that. So with touring, I understand that you're like basically in a new city almost every other week, except when you have like a sit down.
Mhm.
So, like, what is your routine every time you're in a new city?
Ooh. So, first thing I do is I actually open the All Trails app on my phone and I look and see what running trails are around because usually Mondays are my day off from running, and Tuesday, because so we'll only travel on Mondays, which sometimes happen to be our day off, and then Tuesday morning I have to get back out on the road. Running is what I call it. So I will look up trails. That's one of the things that I do first and foremost. And then my husband and I have these little baskets we travel with, which have become really good for us because there it's like it's very clear as to what goes in what goes where. I tend to be kind of a clean freak, and he has ADHD, and so for him, I'm currently sitting in his office space, and it's a mess. But I will set out a little basket that's like this is where all our important things go, and that has become such a ritual for us for the last 2 years because it is really difficult to switch spaces and kind of keep any sort of routine. So that's something we do. We always go grocery shopping. We're currently in Toronto in Canada, but when we're in the States, we always go to Trader Joe's. That's like our because we know exactly what we're gonna get there. It's like very specific on like we know how to meal prep, meal plan based on what Trader Joe's has to offer. So that has become tradition, I guess, at this point. And then I know some people, we've had week-long stays for a long time where we will, stay in a city for a week and then we'll leave the next Monday and then stay there for a week, leave the next Monday. Um, and there's a couple people in our company who don't unpack. And I have learned for myself that for me to feel any sort of groundedness wherever we are, I need to unpack in some way. So I have these packing cubes that I specifically put in drawers and like just to give myself uh, the feeling of landing somewhere for a second and like getting to enjoy where I'm at. Yeah, and that's it. And then whenever we go into new theaters, we always have to sound check. So we have to go in 2 hours before show. We always have a meeting and we sound check, and that is very much ritualistic as well.
So sadly, because I'm from Wisconsin, we don't have Trader Joe's, but I've always wanted to try it.
Ah,
It makes me so sad. But like, what are your favorite things from there?
ooh, okay. Okay, we've been in Canada now for 2 months, so we haven't been to Trader Joe's for 2 months, and I'm like, what is that Trader Joe's? I can't wait to be there again. Um, Favorite items, all their produce, so good, huge fan. When it comes to Trader Joe's goodies, their dark chocolate covered pretzels are amazing. They have these like peanut butter stick things with jelly that are amazing. In their frozen stuff, we love their pizza. They have this really good Brazilian bread. They have a really nice selection of like Indian food as well, which we like. And then I love their seltzer water. My favorite thing at Trader Joe's is actually they have this lemon ginger flavored seltzer water that is so good and it's so addictive. So that I love. And then I love Trader Joe's candles. Huge fan. My trunk actually. So our for tour they give you a trunk that the company travels, and you can put absolutely everything and anything in there. Most people store their, if they're at hotels, they have their little kitchen set so that at the hotel they can still cook, or people store their extra clothes, their winter clothes or summer clothes, depending. And because my husband travels with me, we have a car. So our car is essentially my storage unit. So my trunk is my miscellaneous, what we call all our miscellaneous items. And for a while, it was literally filled to the brim with Trader Joe's candles
Oh my god.
because I was obsessed and I would gift them to anybody in the company too because Trader Joe's does this thing. Oh my gosh, I'm going to become a brand ambassador for Trader Joe's. I feel like
I would
they
love that.
honestly, they do this. All their items are seasonal. And so you have like the spring collection and the summer collection and the fall. Fall is my favorite season because everything pumpkin comes out. Huge fan. But also new candles come out in every season. And so literally when a new candle comes out, I buy like 20 of them and I store them in my trunk. And I just recently ran out. So I just used my last Trader Joe's candle and it's been pretty sad.
When do you guys come back to the States?
We come back so this is our last week in Toronto. We've been here 7 weeks. And then we have 1 week next week in Ottawa, and then we come back to the States. So we're really close.
So you're gonna stock up on those candles?
You know it.
I love that. Okay, so we are at our final question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So where can people find you and like what are your social medias?
Okay. So people can find me. Instagram is the most reliable for me. It's at Belencita Moyano. People can also find me on TikTok, which is at Belenchu Moyano. I do wall tags in cities that we go to, and so that's basically what my TikTok is. It's just Hadestown wall tags. If people love that kind of stuff,
I
I
do.
also have a oh yay!
That's how I found you. So I'm like, I'm
Oh,
waiting for
amazing!
more. I'm waiting for more.
I have some more in my queue. We haven't done any in the last little while, but I've
Really?
also just kind of slacked on making videos. So I literally
Mm.
have like four more that I need to post. And then we'll see if we end up doing any more before I leave the tour. Yeah. And then my website, people can contact me there or find me there. It's just belenmoyano.com. I also produced a musical podcast which I've been telling people to go and check out if you love musicals and you like podcasts, which, I feel like this is the perfect place.
This is for me.
Um, Truly, it's called Macabre Mortality Services, and it's MCCOBB, and it's on all streaming platforms. I'm one of the producers on it. It's this incredible, incredible 6 episode musical with jazz funk music. Based on the story is about a matriarchy of grim reapers. It's a comedy. It's a dark comedy. It's so so fun. So definitely check that out.
I
Yeah.
definitely will.
Okay. I can't wait to hear what you think.
I will text you right away. I'd be like, I will guarantee you that I will think it's amazing.
Okay, please.
All right, that's it. We
Amazing.
did it. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so grateful. You're my second guest, so this is so exciting for
Oh,
me. So yeah, thank you so much.
of
And make
course.
sure
It's
you
an
guys
honor.
make sure you guys tune in next week. Bye.
Bye.